So welcome guys to another tutorial of SQL. Today we will be solving the revising select query problem, which is the most basic problem in this problem set on HackerRank, where you can practice SQL questions. So now let's read the question. The question says query all the columns of all American cities in the table with population greater than 100,000. The country code for America is USA. The city table is described as follows. So this is the city table they have given, and these are the fields. Fields are known as the columns in the table. So the columns are ID, name, country code, district and population, and these are the types, or we can say the data which is stored in these columns. So now let's get started with the explanation. So in this problem there are three things that you are going to learn. The first thing is select statement. So what is a select statement here? So what select statement does is, if you want to query the data from database, what does that mean? It means that if you want some data from the database, okay, for any operation, or you just want to see what data you have stored, so you can use select. So here we're going to use select, that is select star from, what is the name of the database? City. What is the name of the table? City. And we're going to submit the code. I'm using MySQL. You can use other syntax if you want. Of course the answer is going to be wrong, because I just wanted to show you what the select statement is. So what select statement does here is, you can see it fetches every row of the our table. So this is the column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, which are shown here. That is column 1, that is, you can see ID. Column 2 is name, right, Scottsdale. Column 3 is country code, in which country? USA. And column 4 is district, that is Arizona. And similarly column 5, right? So now I hope you have understood what select statement does. Now what star does is, star basically fetches all rows and all columns of the table, right? So now what if I want to fetch something specific, or let's say I only want ID column, okay? So instead of star I will use select ID. I hope, yeah, ID, right? Okay, let's see. Right, so as you can see, this thing only fetched us select star from ID. So these are all the IDs that are fetched. So now as you can see, by selecting ID you have selected the specific rows, the specific columns in the table, right? So we only selected ID column, therefore I only got all the entries of the ID column, right? Okay, now let's move on the question. So what we really want is query all the columns in American cities. Now since all the columns are there, as I just explained, here will be star instead of ID. What star is? Star is basically all the columns and all the rows from the city. So now this query will fetch everything from the table, but we want something specific, right? So what do we want? All American in the city table with populations larger than 100,000, right? So what do we want is, we want to add a condition, something like if else in the programming language that you use. So in SQL there is a condition called where. So what does this mean is, whatever the columns and rows that satisfy this condition will only be fetched. So what do we want here is where, let's see the condition again, where population is larger than 100,000, right? So where population column is greater than 100, hope this is 100,000, yeah. So let's run this. Of course the answer will be wrong, guys. The answer will be wrong because there is one more condition in the table, the question, that is the country code sorry, we only have to fetch all the American cities, right? So as you can see here in this record, one of them is not an American city, that is NLD. Now I don't know what NLD stands for, but it's definitely not America, because we only need the rows where the country is USA. So now let's implement that. Now since we also want this condition and one more condition, we're going to use and what is the name of the column? Country code. Let's see. Country code equal to USA. So now let's try to run this. As you can see, our outputs have matched perfectly. So again, select statement, where and is basically like both of these conditions will be satisfied, and these conditions were already given in the question. I hope you understood this explanation. For more such explanations, you can subscribe to my channel, and if you want an explanation for a specific question, you can mention that in comments. I will try to deliver. Thank you.